What's going on, kids? Pastor Jacob here with another midweek video. I hope you're all having a wonderful week. This week, we're in the book of Nehemiah. Nehemiah is in the Old Testament. It comes after the book of Ezra and before the book of Esther. We're going to start in Nehemiah chapter 1 today, so take a minute and find Nehemiah chapter 1. Nehemiah had a big job. He had a lot of people and tasks to lead. Nehemiah was going to need a lot of help, like God-sized help. Let's watch our video and see how God uses Nehemiah to help God's people.
Hi friends, Megan here, and this is Jessie.
Hi.
Jessie, is that what I think it is? Is that the official Koala Karate Squad Dojo Master's lair we worked so hard to build?
Yep.
Oh no, what happened?
Well, my mom was cleaning in my room and she accidentally knocked it off my dresser. It was an accident. She said she was really sorry.
Oh well, accidents happen, I guess.
Yeah, Mom did say she would help us rebuild it.
Oh good, that was really nice of her. And I'm sure between the three of us, we can rebuild it really quickly.
You think so?
Oh yeah! In today's Bible story, God's people rebuilt something that was broken, the walls around Jerusalem, and they did it quickly.
They did?
Yep. Let's listen to the story before we start rebuilding. Long ago, a man named Nehemiah lived in Persia. Persia was the place where many of God's people stayed after they were freed from Babylon. Some of God's people went home to their country called Judah. Nehemiah was one of God's people. He had an important job in Persia serving the king. One day, some men came from Judah. Nehemiah asked them, "How are God's people doing?" "The people are in trouble," they said. "The walls around the city are broken down, and the gates have been burned down." Nehemiah cried and prayed to God when he heard this bad news. The king saw that Nehemiah was sad. "What's wrong, Nehemiah?" the king asked. Nehemiah said, "The city where my family is from is in trouble. The walls around the city are broken, and the gates have been burned down." So the king sent Nehemiah to Jerusalem to rebuild the city. In Jerusalem, Nehemiah led the people to rebuild Jerusalem's wall and fix the gates in the wall. Everyone in the city worked together on the walls. Before long, the wall was halfway rebuilt. Some men who lived nearby did not like God's people, and they did not want them to have new walls to keep them safe. The men made fun of God's people and made a plan to attack them. Nehemiah did not want the people to be afraid. "God is great and powerful," Nehemiah said. "If our enemies attack us, God will fight for us." So God's people kept working. Some of the men stood guard with weapons, and others worked on the wall. The people were always ready to fight, just in case. Nehemiah was a good leader for God's people. He helped them when they had problems, and he told them to trust God. Before long, the wall was finished. The gates and the walls were fixed, and God's people were safe. The people's enemies were afraid because they knew that God was with his people. Nehemiah helped God's people fix the walls around their city. The walls protected the people from their enemies. Jesus protects us from our enemies. When we know and love Jesus, he keeps us safe from sin, and we will live with him forever.
Nehemiah was a hard worker. He worked so hard to lead God's people and to rebuild the wall and keep them encouraged. We spent a couple weeks digging into the story of Nehemiah in our life group videos. So if you haven't got a chance to see those, go check them out on our church's YouTube page. We explored all about how Nehemiah was a prayer warrior and how Nehemiah was a leader that we should want to be just like. I love reading the story of Nehemiah. I learn so much every time I get into it. It's not just a story about a wall being built, but it's a story of challenges and leaning on God. Do you know what really stuck out to me this time, though, about reading Nehemiah? I really saw how much Nehemiah cared for people. Nehemiah worked so hard to lead the people in rebuilding the wall and then protecting them from those who were trying to distract them. In Nehemiah chapter 5, Nehemiah learns that some of the people were having trouble feeding their family because other people were charging them way too much for food. Nehemiah was not going to let that happen. He went to those people and he told them to cut it out. That's not how we're supposed to treat other people. Nehemiah was always looking out for other people. The biggest and I think the most important thing that he did for other people was pray for them. If you remember, Miss Emily taught us how to make a prayer hand last time we talked about Nehemiah. Now it's time to put that prayer hand to use. We're going to make a prayer poster. Now, right here, I have a sheet of paper. You can use whatever it is that you want to make your actual poster, whether it's a huge giant poster or it's just a normal sheet of paper like I have. At the top of your prayer poster, I want you to write the words prayer poster. Then I want you to go and decorate all the outside of it. Make it all pretty and put things that are important to you so that you remember to pray for them. You see, I have the world right here because I always want to pray for people across the world who don't know Jesus. I promise this is Arkansas, and I want to pray for the people of Arkansas. This is my family, I think. I tried to draw my family. It didn't turn out so good. But I drew them to remember to pray for them. So no matter what they look like, I know who those people are, and I'm going to pray for them. Then, in the middle of your poster, I want you to write the names of the people that you want to pray for. So right here, I put friends because I have friends in Texas, I have friends in Thailand, and all over the place that I want to remember to pray for. I put pastors because I want to remember to pray for our pastors at our church, and you put whatever it is that you want to pray for. Then I want you to take your prayer poster and hang it somewhere in your room that you can see it, or really anywhere in your house that you always see it, and it always reminds you to pray for others and to talk to God. I hope you all have a great time making your prayer posters. Bye.